Oh, hello and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. And it's getting hot. It's getting hot, and I'll tell you the truth, I haven't got any trousers on because I'm so hot. Put this top on. I was in a nightie and I thought, well, I'll put a top on at least. But no trousers on because it's getting hot. And today, in honour of it getting hot, is my June TBR. The months are getting warmer and the days getting longer, which I do enjoy a longer day. Now, I moan on and on and on about how much I don't like the heat, but I do enjoy a longer day. I've just seen a bird of shit all down my window over there. That is just gorgeous. I've got some books here, some of which are very much related to hot days and hot summers and things. I've got some books that I'll be doing some buddy reads with. I've got all sorts, but let's just get on with it. First of all, I will start by talking about the books that I'm going to be reading in my book club, neither of which I have physical copies of. The first one I'm going to be reading in my book club at work, and that is Mad Girl by Bryony Gordon. This is a non-fiction book about Bryony Gordon, who suffers from OCD and other mental health problems. And yeah, when it got pulled out the pot, I was very, very excited because I'd heard the podcast of Bryony Gordon when she was on Emma Gannon's podcast, Control Alt Delete, and I thought, God, that sounds really interesting. And then when it pulled it out the pot at book club, I was very, very excited. So looking forward to reading that. And then the other book that we're going to be reading for my online book club is Into the Water, which is Paula Hawkins' newest book. She wrote Girl on the Train last year. Everyone knows about Girl on the Train. And that is what we're going to be reading on my online book club, which is nice. I keep seeing it in the shops everywhere, so I do need to just pick up a copy. But I believe that is about witching, and I don't think it's got like a spooky aspect to it, but I think it's a story told in a region where historically they used to drown witches, and that's all I actually know about it. And I feel like I want to go into that, just knowing just that, because I feel excited by it. I really enjoyed Girl on the Train. Read that not last summer, the summer before. And actually enjoyed the film of it too. So hopefully I'll go to that and enjoy that just as much. So those are the books I haven't got with me. I'll be buying those at some point. But the other books, so I'll go on to the buddy reads I've got. So recently, this appeared in a haul that I did when I went to London with Mercedes and Simon. This is English Animals by Laura Kay, and I shall be buddy reading this with Mercedes and Simon. This is a book about a woman called Mirka who works as a sort of au pair. She gets a job in the countryside looking after a family who the head of the family, the father, is a taxidermist, and Mirka ends up having a romantic relationship with Sophie, the mother of the family. So yeah, it sounds really interesting. I love this front cover. I've shown this already, but look at that little foxy guy doing a little leap. Very much looking forward to getting to that. So that's that. The next two buddy reads are with Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings. This also appeared in the haul that I showed the English Animals in, and that is the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. So whilst we were book shopping, Mercedes and I had quite a good chat about fantasy. I've just realised that I've smashed the pages up a bit there, and I really would like to get into some fantasy. The only fantasy books that I've ever read are Game of Thrones. God, I almost forgot the name of Game of Thrones then. And I enjoyed the first book of that, but never got round to reading the second. And Mercedes had this and was very excited for it. She said it's written by a female black author, which is almost unheard of in the fantasy world. So I felt very excited by this, and I've bought it and we're going to read it. We're going to start this on the 1st of June. We're going straight for it. We're both really looking forward to it. Also, it feels quite small, doesn't it, for a fantasy book? I just remember epic fantasies being like big old bricks. So yeah, we will be reading that. I don't actually know much about it, so all I know is that it's fantasy, and I'm excited. And then the last book I will also be reading, I will also be buddy reading with Mercedes, and that is The House Between Tides by Sarah Main. Mercedes got sent this by the publisher last year, and I bought it when we went on a booktube meetup in August, and since then we've been saying we're going to buddy read it, and I said to Mercedes, we never did get around to buddy reading that, and she said, well, I always watch your TBRs and you never include it, so I always think, oh, another month and we're not reading it. It's been confirmed, we're going to buddy read this. We're going to start with the 5th season, and then maybe buddy read this later on in the month. But this is a book which has been described as an echo of Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca, a highly readable debut. So I'm very much looking forward to that. It's published by Freight Books as well, and I'm actually yet to read a bad book that Freight Books have published, so well done, Freight Books. Very excited. I really like this front cover as well. I like the colours in it. So the next one is one that I've been sent by a publisher and I haven't even hauled this guy yet. This is Sally Rooney, Conversations with Friends. And I really like the sound of this. When they contacted me and said, would I be interested in having it sent to me? I got a sticker. Oh, I've dropped something. Hold on. That's just a postcard. But in the, I also got a little bottle of gin, which I don't drink, but I gave to my sister, and a couple of fags, which I don't smoke. But they're just on top of the microwave. David and I used to smoke. Disgusting. And David and I pretended to have a cigarette, and when David held it in his mouth, he was like, oh my god, I want to smoke. So they're on top of the microwave over there. Might have to get rid of him in case he grabs one night and smokes. But anyway, never mind that. I feel excited about this. It sounds here, so it's about a group of friends, and they're talking to each other about relationships, sex, politics, blah blah blah. But the bit that really got me here is, this is, so like the second paragraph in the blurb is, you can read Conversation with Friends as a romantic comedy, or you can read it as a feminist text. You can read it as a book about infidelity, about the pleasures and difficulties of intimacy, or about how our minds think about our bodies. However you choose to read it is an unforgettable novel about the possibility of love. And I was like, oh, that sounds really good. So looking forward to reading that. Very, very excited by it. So the last 3 books I've got are all books off my bookshelf that mention being set in summer or being set in hot times, etc. As I said, the weather is getting much, much warmer now. Although I think it's bank holiday weekend, and I think it's supposed to rain on Sunday and Monday. But I want books that are going to be like hot, just like I just like seasonal reads. I like reading at the time when the weather in the book is reflected by the weather that you're experiencing. So I've got a few books here which are set in hot times. So I've got here The Natural Way of Things by Charlotte Wood. This is a tale set in Australia about 2 women who awake from a drugged sleep to find themselves imprisoned in a broken down property in the middle of a desert. But it says here they do hard labour under the sweltering sun, and the prisoners that are all there learn that they've got something in common with each other. I love this front cover. It's absolutely beautiful. I showed it recently on one of my bookshelf tours. It's one of these ones that are like a bit like The Vegetarian by Han Kang, in that it's got sort of things hidden in there. So although it looks gorgeous with like these plants and everything, you can see there's a knife there, there's a bunch of keys here, there's a chain here, there's a lock there, and it's just, I just think it's gorgeous. So yeah, hopefully that is as good as the front cover. The next one I've got is one that Simon gifted me. It's The Proof of Love by Catherine Hall. This is one of his favourite books, so much so he's written here, I loved it, Savage Reads blog. It can't get any clearer, he loved it. So this is set in the summer holidays, and it says, by the time the summer holidays begin, Spencer Little is keen to put the events of the past term at Cambridge behind him, and a remote village in the Lake District seems to offer the perfect escape. But it's not so easy to remain anonymous in a small community, and after striking up a friendship with 10-year-old Alice, Spencer also finds himself being drawn into other people's lives. As the summer heatwave intensifies and a web of complicities tightens around him, Spencer realises that he will eventually be forced to choose between loyalty and truth. So yeah, and this also won the Green Carnation Prize. So I watched Simon's video about the Green Carnation Prize, which I'll link down below, and I was like, oh, I must read that. So, and I remembered I had it on my shelf because Simon kindly got it for me. So another summer book there. And then the last one that I am hoping to get round to is The Trouble with Goats and Sheep. This is set in summer in 1976, and it's told from 2 young people's perspectives, and there's been a murder, I believe. No, someone's missing. Mrs. Creasy. I used to have a dinner lady called Mrs. Creasy. Mrs. Creasy's missing, and the avenue is alive with whispers as the summer shimmers endlessly on. 10-year-old Grace and Tilly decide to take matters into their own hands. So looking forward to reading that as well in the summer thing. So those are the books that I'm planning on reading in June. What are you guys planning on reading in June? Have you got round to any of your summer reads yet? Is it warm where you are? Is it not? What are you guys planning on reading? Do you like to read seasonally? These are all the questions I want answered. I hope you are all having a lovely, lovely time so far, and I'll see you again on Sunday for another BookTube video.